Hey everybody, Leo here. Today I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to purchase Bitcoins through Localbitcoins. Pretty much set up an account. I'm not going to go through that because there'll be a button here that says sign up and go from there, set up your account. That's easy. From here though, I want to focus a little bit of attention on how to basically use it and first steps that you should take. So let me start with the first steps that you should take and just takes a minute. So first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your account is verified. Once you create the account, verify, because if you don't, then you're going to be very limited on what you can do. So how do we do that? Pretty simple. You're going to click on here, you're going to click on your profile. Here, you're going to go and edit profile. And from there, you're going to click on verification. So let's do that. And there you'll see that my account here that I'm using is already email verified, phone number verified, and identity verified. Okay? Those three need to be verified. If they're verified, then the process will be much smoother and you'll be able to work with a lot more vendors. If it's not, then you're probably going to run into some issues. Okay, so now how do we use it? Pretty simple. You're buying Bitcoins. If you're selling them, that's a whole other thing. I'm not going to focus on that. I'm just going to focus on buying them. You're going to put the amount that you want to buy, the currency you want to buy it in, the location that you're in, and then the types of offers. The types of offers, they take all different kinds. If you want to focus just on PayPal, say, you just click on PayPal and then it'll only show you offers for PayPal and so forth. But let's take a closer look at more of what each of these columns really do, because this is the part you need to understand. Here, these are the sellers, okay? And from here, you can see who's also been active and what their feedback is. My suggestion is work with somebody who has already shown that they have a history and they have very good rating. Okay, those are things that will safeguard you a little bit more. Now the system in of itself is pretty safe, because what it does is you take your currency, you go ahead and pay, the Bitcoin is held in escrow, and then once the transaction is completed and verified, then those funds get released. So neither one of them, they don't get your money unless, they, until they've verified it, that they payment, and obviously until they release their funds. So there you go. So the seller, that part's pretty important. The second thing is you want to look at this column is what types of payments do they accept. Okay, these are all cash deposits at different places. At a co-op credit union, Citibank credit union, credit unions, etc. Okay. Here is the price that you'll pay for that specific Bitcoin. So from this to the sellers, they're selling them, one Bitcoin would be at 1775 US dollars. That's the rate that they're selling it for. Now, the rates tend to be a little bit higher, but it's the convenience of being able to get your Bitcoin faster, so you're going to pay a little bit higher. The limits, they tells you how much they're willing to sell. So between 100 to 333 in this particular case, and then you go to buy. Okay. Now let's go ahead and click on one of them. Let's say we're going to buy, just for the tutorial's sake, and to be brief, let's say we go with this one because there's a Citibank close to mine. When you're going to buy, you're going to be redirected to a page where you'll be able to see all these details that we just talked about. This particular case is 1640 USD for one Bitcoin. Doesn't mean you have to buy one. It just means that's the rate. You're going to make a cash deposit at a Citibank. Does the user who you're buying from, their feedback, how much they're willing to sell. They're in the United States, and this payment window is pretty important. Meaning, do you have a window of 270 minutes to make that deposit? If you don't make it and you don't confirm it, then your Bitcoin does not get sold, and it gets released and it moves on to the next person. Here it tells you how much you want to buy. Pretty simple. Just let's say you want to buy, that's $300 worth. Okay, so it's 0.182 Bitcoin. Now the neat thing about this, when I purchased from these guys, is that you can actually chat back and forth with them through here. And they're very responsive for the most part, because they have somebody who's interested in buying. So that's pretty obvious, right? They want to make sure they get back to you. Once that request has been made, then before you even hit that button, you want to make sure that you read the right-hand side, because on the right-hand side, it gives you the specific instructions for that specific seller. If you don't follow these steps, then the transaction will probably get stuck somewhere in the process. Now, I'm not going to stop and read this because it depends on each seller. Each seller will have slightly different instructions because they're willing to accept different types of payments and so forth. So you do need to make sure you read those instructions. And then once you've completed those steps, then you can contact them if that's what they ask you to do, or once they have verification they've received the funds, then they give the okay for the Bitcoin to be released. And that's it. So the process in of itself is really not tremendously difficult. It's simply finding a seller that sells the amount of Bitcoin that you want at a price that you want through a method that you want. That's it. But before you can do any of that, remember, you got to go verify your account. If you don't verify your account, then unfortunately you'll be limited as to what you're able to do. So there will be a link below this video. You're certainly welcome to go through it so you can visit Localbitcoins. If you like the video, please go ahead and click like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel so you can get more of this type of info. And I wish you much success. Thank you very much. Have a great day.